Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to an all-new reaction and review. Tonight, guys, I'm taking a look at a German movie from 1996 based on a German comic book. That movie is Killer Condom. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I have seen the trailer for this. I saw it a couple of years ago because I'm not quite sure if you guys can see. I'm not totally sure if the camera's picking up on this. But Killer Condom, when it was released in the U.S., was released by Troma. And Troma has a real good habit of putting tons and tons of trailers for other movies on their DVDs. So when I had a bunch of Troma movies in my collection, I probably had the trailer for Killer Condom at least 4 or 5 times. And frankly, it looked okay. And because it's from Troma, I have a rather strong feeling the movie is going to be okay. Of course, though, this thing could easily fall into the same category as movies like Igor and the Lunatics and Super Starlet AD and Baconhead is just absolute unwatchable garbage from Troma. However, I'm still going to stay kind of optimistic on this because, well, hey, it is about a condom that kills guys by biting off their dicks. Yes, for everyone who's been waiting for me to get even more movies that focus on genital mutilation. Yeah, we have a movie now that's nothing but. And frankly, I'm not sure if that's going to be a good thing or not. I'm still hoping for the movie to be good, though. But the only way I'm going to find out if the damn thing is any good is if I shut up and I push play, and I'm going to do that right now. So, without further ado, it's time to kick back, relax, and check out Killer Condom. Well, on the plus side, the first victim of the Killer Condom was an absolute scumbag, and I'm very happy to see him die. Also on the plus side, it was off camera. Thank fuck for small favors. So yeah, guys, so far the movie's off to a rather decent, start. So I'm kind of digging it. Whoa, wait. So apparently, when you get your testicle bitten off or cut off or chopped off, you're past the worst of it when you're able to take a piss. I'm sorry, but if a condom randomly, sprung up and bit off my right nut, I think I'd be a little bit more worried about the fact that I'm missing a ball, okay? I really think I'd be worried more about that than being able to take a fucking piss. I totally understand that the doctor was trying to put a silver lining on the whole situation, but still, god damn it. No, the worst of it is you're missing a nut. It's plain and simple. Now, guys, out of every character in this movie so far, the only one who really creeps me out to no end is Babette, or Bob, or whatever the fuck he, she, it wants to call itself at this moment. Really fucking creepy. I just kind of wanted to share that. So the Killer Condom is a mix between a giant worm, a jellyfish, and a piranha. Frankly, after looking at it, I can totally see all three of those things, and it still doesn't make it any less fucking creepy, guys. Okay, you know what? I actually have to grant them a little bit of realism here, because we're right now watching a newscast which is talking about the Killer Condoms, and they have an artist's concept drawing of the condom. And I guess if you were to ask a sketch artist to draw a condom with teeth, that's probably the best thing they would ever come up with. It looked really goofy, it looked really stupid, but goddamn it, it also looked funny as hell, and I'm gonna have to grant them props for that, man. Alright, it's really good to finally see the lab where all of these dick-eating condoms are coming from. I'm really hoping, though, that we get an explanation as to why said dick-eating condoms are being made. That's all I really want, guys, is I just want an explanation. You know what I mean? Yeah, guys, do you want to know? Do you want to know a real easy way to make these condoms look even creepier? By adding predator jaws to it. Oh, Jesus. I don't think I'm ever going to be able to watch the Predator movies the same fucking way again. I'm just going to be reminded of this fucking condom. It's really kind of unsettling, guys. Well, guys, that was Killer Condom, and let me shut that off. Okay. So, why don't we, first of all, I guess I'd like to say that when I went into this thing, I was absolutely fearing the fucking worst, guys. I really, really was. I was completely willing to expect this thing to completely just suck hard. And instead, I walk away kind of enjoying the film. I'm actually a little bit surprised by that. All right, so why don't we start with writing? Writing is one of the many places where this movie absolutely excels. I'd like to say that I've mentioned many times in previous episodes about how movies will have some kind of a message and they will bludgeon the viewer over the head with their fucking message until you just get sick and tired of hearing it. And I love to harp on that. This movie does have a message, and really it's done in a very competent manner. The message is accepting homosexuals. No, guys, I am not kidding. This entire movie, when all is said and done, is about gay acceptance, and that's really awesome. We get basically like a speech at the end of the film. We get a small little like 2-line speech like halfway through, and the fact that the main character is gay. That is it for the message, and it totally works. They don't have to beat you over the fucking head with it from start to finish. You just have those 3 moments, and it works so well. And with that, we also then have the story itself, and I stated earlier that I wanted just an explanation as to why these dick-eating condoms were plaguing and absolutely infesting New York City. Well, I did get a reason, and I'm not going to share it here because I don't want to spoil this for you guys. If I really do want you guys to go out and watch this thing if you can find a copy. Frankly, I was not expecting the reason. And when I first heard it, it kind of hit me a little bit hard. It came right out of left field. However, I will say that upon thinking about it as the rest of the movie went on, it makes total sense. It's just when they first dump it on you, you do not see it coming. But well, I am going to say it certainly worked. And the story here essentially just about a gay cop who's looking into cases of dicks being bitten off, and they originally think it's because of hookers, and he winds up figuring out that it's actually because of these condoms. And nobody fucking believes him until, well, they actually begin to see the damned things, and until he actually has the corpse of one of them in the coroner's office. Yes, we do get a condom corpse, and it looks incredibly creepy. That, though, falls more into special effects, and I will get to those. The story here, guys, is really sound, and the characters are all incredibly colorful, and most of them are really likable. I personally found the character of Bob, or fucking, Babette, to be a little bit annoying, but frankly, if I were to give this movie a second viewing, she would probably grow on me a little bit more. So really, I can't even fault, that. Every single character here has got quirks, very likable quirks, very cool quirks. So yeah, guys, writing-wise, this movie absolutely shines, and that is fantastic. In fact, actually, the writing here was so good, I'm really kind of curious to read the Killer Condom comic book, if there is any kind of English translation for it. I am genuinely curious. I kind of want to see how the comic differs, let's say. Now, with acting, The acting here is incredibly good also. I mean, I have seen a handful of German films, and I'm in no way about to say that this is the best acting I've seen in a German film, but God damn it, it is still really good. And again, because the film is distributed by Troma, I was kind of sort of expecting like acting that would be good for a Troma movie, which is usually just kind of sort of like a backhanded way of saying it's good but it's not great. Here, the acting is really good. I'm just talking good in a general sense. We aren't even talking by Troma standards or by any other, like, goofy-ass standards, guys. The acting here is really good, and every actor turns in a fantastic showing. Granted, nobody here actually jumps out and absolutely shines with a marvelous and stellar showing, but everybody here is putting in enough effort to make the entire movie solid, and that is fantastic. Now, as for special effects, they have on the front here, and I kind of wanted to hold off on this, that this movie had as its creative consultant H.R. Giger, the guy who created the Alien from the Aliens, whatever franchise. And you can kind of see that in a whole lot of the condoms as they begin to sprout teeth and they get bigger and what have you. You can totally see Giger's influence on that. I'm not sure exactly what they did in terms of making him a creative consultant. I don't know if they asked him to draw like diagrams of what the insides of these things look like. I don't know if they just called him at 2 a.m. and said, yeah, hi, what do you think of the idea of condoms? And then hung up and went, okay, cool, he answered. That totally counts as a creative consultant. I don't know what kind of depth Giger had working on this thing, but you can totally see a little bit of his, influence in this. So if you happen to be fascinated with just the way that the bugs or the xenomorphs in the Alien films look and move and act, then you'll probably sort of get a kick out of how the condoms look, move, and act here. It is somewhat similar, albeit incredibly scaled, back. Both in terms of size and in terms of like special effects budget. And even though this thing has, I'm going to assume, a rather low budget, effects here are incredibly good because we have condoms that are essentially being puppeteered and they look really good. There's like one scene where it looks almost as if it's like a bunch of condoms like crawling out of a storm drain. And from certain angles, it almost happens to look like they are being puppeteered. Then there's one shot where it looks almost like it's like stop motion. It still looks okay, but it's certainly a little bit jerkier than every other shot, and it kind of stands out a little bit. And of course, in those shots when you actually see the condoms with teeth and it's actually a full blown puppet, it looks really cool. So I mean, we have that going on. We have very, very little in terms of blood or gore, or well, there actually are a handful of severed dicks you see, which really isn't a shocker considering the content of the movie. But still, all of that looks incredibly good, guys. And in terms of special effects, this thing is great. Subtitles. Yes, guys, this is the only Troma movie I know of which is subtitled as opposed to dubbed, and I've seen Troma carry a couple other foreign films. They usually dub them. This one, though, was subtitled, and there are a couple of moments where you don't get subtitles at all. Probably, because it's like almost kind of sort of English, but you still can't totally understand it. There's also a character who shows up late in the movie, and she's put in the hospital because one of the condoms like bites on her nose, but she doesn't speak German and she needs a translator. And because the main characters aren't able to understand her, she isn't subtitled, which to me is sort of a clever way of doing things. There also are moments where there is like a couple of moments where dialogue is going, but there are no subtitles on screen. That happens once, incredibly early. I kind of sort of wish I knew what the hell was being said, but I don't know because I don't speak German. So beyond that, subtitles here are incredibly good. I do have one other comment, and that's with the color of the subtitles. Now, because this movie was made in 1996, a lot of people didn't bother to go to great lengths to make sure that you could read your subtitles. So we have shots which have a whole lot of white items or white light. in the shot, and when you have white subtitles there, you basically have to squint in order to read what the fuck is there. Which is why nowadays most films which use subtitles, they often have yellow subtitles with a thick black outline around each letter, so that way you can actually see it. So yeah, there are a couple of moments where subtitles here are going to be very difficult to read. So I'm just sort of giving you guys a warning. For anyone who wants to go in and watch this thing. Sound mix is really good. Camera work is good. I would like to make a comment though, and I don't know. I don't know if that's because this is just how Troma got the film, or if it just happened when they were adding the subtitles. I don't even know if Troma's the company that added the subtitles. But occasionally, everything, I'm talking picture and subtitles, will jitter on screen. It looks very weird, it's very, very jarring, and as you are trying to read the, like subtitles, and then suddenly the subtitles are like doing this, and they just start like moving and jittering and like waveforming kind of, as the whole screen is tilting and moving slightly, which it only happens a couple of times. I mean, it seriously isn't like a constant problem. I think I might have noticed it about 4 times, and all that was within like the first half of the movie, but still, like, doing that, it seriously does sort of give you a little bit of motion sickness as you are trying to keep up with the subtitles, as they're kind of tilting and moving and going up and down. It's very, very odd. Again, it seriously isn't a horrible problem, and it doesn't happen often, but I do kind of want to warn you guys about it, because I really do want you guys to see this thing. All in all, am I able to recommend Killer Condom? Oh, fuck yes, I can. This movie surprised the ever-loving shit out of me, because I was totally ready to just come up here, watch this thing, and say, God, what a horrible piece of garbage. And it surprised me. I had no idea this movie was going to be this entertaining, because, again, Troma loves to put as many trailers for their movies as possible on a bunch of their DVDs. And I had seen the trailer for Killer Condom a couple of times, and each time I watched it, I went, I'm not really interested in this. It looks really stupid. And it's partially because the premise itself is really fucking stupid. I'm not going to lie. However, though, with awesome writing, and with fantastic acting, and with superb special effects, this movie is able to take an absolutely retarded premise and make it something worth seeing. So if you guys can find a copy of this thing anywhere, I highly recommend you check it out. I have no idea if this thing is on Netflix. I don't know if it's on Hulu. I don't know if it's on YouTube. I kind of doubt that it's on YouTube, but then again, I have seen things on YouTube I didn't know I'd ever see there. So you might be able to find this over there. I highly recommend you guys try to watch this thing at least once. It is totally worth seeing, and believe me, guys, if I honestly am surprised about how decent it is, then shit, it almost has to be good. Now, Killer Condom here came off the Amazon wish list. The person who sent it in is Grace, who is a friend who is, she actually is more of a friend of a friend, but she is the one who sent it in. Grace, thank you. And for the shout out, Grace wanted me to promote her DeviantArt page, which is theartisticdragon.deviantart.com. I am going to put a link to that in this video's description, guys. Please swing over there and check out everything she has. And if you happen to like her art, just why don't you go ahead and like leave like a couple of comments and just let her know. And Grace, thank you. Honest to God, I really thought this movie was going to completely suck, and you probably thought it was going to be horrible too when you sent it to me, and God damn it, I am still kind of surprised at how decent this movie was. So, yeah, this whole time I really thought I would dump this thing in the pile of horrible Troma movies like Baconhead and fucking Superstarlet AD and, Igor and the Lunatics. Instead, I can put this thing on a different pile amongst awesome films that Troma has distributed, such as let's see, Redneck Zombies and Bloodsucking Freaks and Cannibal the Musical and Surf Nazis Must Die. This thing fits perfectly amongst all of those. This is an absolutely fantastic movie, guys. You really do have to check it out. And with that, we come to the close of another reaction and review. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care, and I will see you all in the near future. Peace.